Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest news from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, and interviewing all your favorite wrestlers on Wednesday. I am your host, that guy, James J. Alongside the leader of Squash Squad, Felipe Youngs, who is not here at the moment, but somebody that is here, the American Scooter Dust.
I'm skeptical of anyone who tells me they do yoga every day. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch.
And it's a great day for wrestling. Last Wednesday, we interviewed Mike Law on the show. And that was definitely an interesting one. I think he's been our most seasoned veteran of the business that we've ever talked to yet. And lots of great stories, and even with all those great stories, I still feel like we didn't even scratch the surface.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more there that we can get into with Mike Law.
Oh, absolutely. Next week on the show, we got Armani Chaos. And if you're in Limitless Wrestling, this is the interview you don't want to listen to. Armani, great guy. If your name isn't Paris Van Dale, he definitely put you on check.
Or on blast, as the kids would say.
Right. And the great thing about Armani, I don't think it's a gimmick. I think Armani is really the way Armani is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's pretty cool. The week after that, we got the Grinder Mark Shaw and our very special WrestleMania weekend show. We got Love Doug. So look out for those. We also have Wrestling Mania Week coming up soon, which is a week long of shows, starting with a preview of WrestleMania, trivia night once again, watch along with Becca and Little Mean Kathleen, a watch along with Clay Wilson and Holden Albright, the Love Duck interview with a watch along of her AEW Dark match with DVN, another the winner of our Mania Madness tournament watch along, and a review show of NXT Stand and Deliver, and of course on Wednesday and Thursday, Stand and Deliver on the Remix, live alternative commentary on the UNB network, and of course on Saturday and Sunday we top it off with the WrestleMania remix also on the UNB network. Correct, Scooter?
Correct. Not to mention this coming Sunday, Fastlane. The remix only on UNB Sports 2 and UNB Network.
And then Monday, I retire. Quit while I'm ahead. But going on to the news portion of the week, Rich Swann won the Unified Impact Championship. He defeated Moose. And he would be going on to fight Kenny Omega for a double championship match. Does Rich Swann have any chance of winning this match, Scooter?
given that Impact has brought in Juice Robinson and David Finlay, and they're now the Impact Tag Team Champions. I really think the ultimate come up in this is going to be Rich Swann beating Kenny Omega.
So you think that he's going to actually get his due and avenge that loss he had against Omega back in January?
Yes, in the 6-man tag. I really have a feeling that with Swann winning, it's going to lead to a much more involved working relationship with Impact and AEW.
Well, it seems like Impact Wrestling, they got everything going on for them. They got a working relationship with New Japan, AEW. I think maybe a couple of people from even Ring of Honor appeared on their show. Um, is Impact Wrestling becoming destination wrestling without anybody actually seeing it?
That's a very interesting comparison. Um, it's a very conclusion to form at this point that maybe it was even a couple months ago. With Ethan Page parting with Impact on what was apparently bad terms, and then immediately showing up in AEW. It makes me think, and I'm really hoping that there's a big payoff for Impact in the end. I mean, there's gotta be.
There should be.
Yeah, there absolutely should be, and the only way I can imagine is if someone not from AEW holds the AEW championship.
Well, we all fought off from that match. Do you think that they might back off on the double championship thing and just make it for the one championship?
No, because it's either for both titles or no titles. Because from a storyline perspective, essentially Kenny Omega, who's not legally a part of Impact Wrestling, getting a shot at the Impact World Championship wouldn't sit right with anybody. Or rather, it evokes too much bad wrestling history. Almost like Hogan walking into WCW in '94 and immediately becoming the champion.
I think I understand what you mean.
Yeah, so Swann, also not a part of AEW, challenging the AEW championship, would also be technically unfair to the rest of AEW. So they've backed themselves into a corner. in terms of announcing this so soon. I mean, I was really thinking that we were at least a couple more months away from, any sort of one-on-one match between Swann and Omega. But the fact that they're pulling the trigger on it makes me think something really big is in the works. And I hope Swann, if he's victorious, is that catalyst to kick it.
Drew was said something like that last time he was on the show. More likely, like a rebellion, like when they did the 2001 WWE did the rebellion paid preview in 2001. Oh, and we got the Kaliko Yachts.
Yeah, Kaliko love the kids. It's the mamas that's the problem.
We're talking about Rich Swann winning the Unified Impact Championship, and maybe where that leads with him wrestling Kenny Omega.
This could end one of two ways. Either he gets the win hokily, like in a hokey ass way, or it's his birthday. I'm letting him have it. I'm letting him have it today. He's 5 today.
Oh, congratulations. Shout out to Kaliko's son.
It's either going to end hokily, him winning, or him losing straight up. No in between.
All right.
But I hope it's the former or the latter. I hope it's the latter, because I really think his story was one of the highlighted stories in 2020, and it just, granted Omega's the draw, but if they could use that to make Rich Swann where he was like in WWE-ish, then yeah, I think that would be a good.
Now, Scooter said that this might turn into something more, and this is just the beginning of, that rivalry between Impact and AEW. You see that this turning into, like the Rebellion preview from 2001 that, Drew was talking about last week on the show?
Rebellion was a UK pay-per-view for the WWE, and I think you're thinking of Invasion?
Invasion, my bad.
Well, the only way it would do that is if more, other than the Good Brothers, like somebody else come. Like, I mean, even Rich Swann showing up on the enemy of an enemy is my friend type of deal. You know what I mean? Like, he could have came out and helped Eddie Kingston and Mox just for the simple fact that it's Kenny. Hey, Kenny's been disrespecting him. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like it's like opportunities that are there, and for whatever reason, they're not taking advantage. Impact, that is.
All right. Now, another thing that I felt was an important bit of news. Charlotte Flair landed a movie role for USA Network. Is this kind of spelling are we kind of going on to the twilight of Charlotte's career here, or?
Fuck no.
No, and she's done it before. She was in the Psych movie.
She was?
Yeah, she was one of the bad guy's bodyguards.
Really?
Yeah, I think she's more loyal to the business than most, I would say.
She's also She's also on guest spots on Punky Brewster, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the remaining days of the WWE Network app while you can, because the network has officially moved to Peacock. Remember, the network will be available as a standalone app until April 4th.
And I'm assuming those were just like guest spots or you know, not. This is a lead role in a movie, and she
Made for TV.
true. But we didn't think John Cena this was gonna happen to John Cena, and look what John Cena's doing.
Kind of did.
Huh?
I kind of did. I expected Cena to blow up in terms of movie roles and get bigger roles. The man can act.
Yeah, he can act.
It's just wrestling
Like-
he sucks at.
Like he's actually pretty good. I mean, as far as a comedy role, he's pretty funny.
It's the next Fast and Furious movie that will really
Determined.
see what John Cena can do, because he's a villain
And the Suicide Squad movie.
Yes.
where he's an asshole.
So that being said about John Cena, it's not crazy to say if Charlotte is doing pretty decent in movies and making a decent amount of money, why would she put her own body through performing every week? You know what I mean?
Well, technically they're not they're performing every week, so the toll is not what it was. The toll the last 2 years is not the toll of what it was 3 years ago.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So essentially, their schedule, by virtue of this, their schedule by virtue of doing of the pandemic actually helped them out because they get to rest. Like, that's the one thing I think it is the benefit, like fewer injuries, and that's good because that means they have a whole roster. Granted, they have to deal with outbreaks, but that's something that they should be able to control, and they can control their bodies and actually rest for once. I mean, this is Daniel Bryan's dream scenario right here. Because that's basically what he wanted to do. And I think that's everybody. Like, it gives them time to fill out other passions and use the platform. And that's why WWE did what they did with that whole, y'all can't use Twitch and all this other shit. Y'all names for all this other shit. Because that's what they were doing. Like, creating outlets of their own.
Now, another thing that happened this week in news, Eric Bischoff is going into the WWE Hall of Fame. Big congratulations to him, well deserved. But is this possibly WWE's way of preventing him from doing shots with AEW again?
It's a very interesting. It's a very interesting question as to why now. I think I think yes, and I also think Paul White has something to do with this a little bit, in that we would have likely seen the Big Show go into the Hall of Fame if he had re-signed
That's a fair assessment.
And it may have also something to do with trying to produce more content related to WCW to put on Peacock.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong.
Ding, 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 ding. That's the answer. Or to me, that's the answer. Because you know what's funny? Like, and Scooter's right on it, because the one thing that they showed on Facebook as far as like Peacock was a rare match of Stunning Steve Austin and Vader versus Ric Flair and Arn Anderson from Saturday Night.
I remember that live.
So that tells you that they're going into the WCW books. I mean, they were already doing that with the network. It was just a slowly but surely. But now it's trying to produce all that content. Because keep in mind, the first thing that they were, like when I was an A1 day one with the network, and the one thing that I really loved, the two shows, was like Monday Night Wars and WrestleMania Rewind.
That match that was supposed to be Ric Flair and Sid Vicious against Austin and Vader, and that whole incident with the scissors happened, I believe, because Sid had literally just turned face in WCW the week before.
Oh, I thought it was another softball tournament.
That's a possibility. Another thing coming out, AEW did Dynamite did their first ever lights out match on the TV show against Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. Dave Meltzer called it the greatest women's match in North America ever. Scooter is...
Dave Meltzer can go fuck himself. At this point, I'm convinced Dave Meltzer is a plague on the world of pro wrestling.
Has been since what, the 80s?
Put it this way, I don't know how many people actually remember this, but in Herb Abrams' UWF, they actually had somebody competing as Davey Meltzer.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, I thought that was super disrespectful to the girls in WWE that have been busting their ass off these last, 5 years? To, make women's wrestling, to build women's wrestling up. And then for him just to say, oh, women's wrestling hasn't had great matches in North America, they've only ever happened in Japan, really makes you think what Dave is smoking. You know what I mean?
I mean, this dude, man, like, I only had two out of that match. I had two grudges, two, maybe three, and here they were. One, I prayed to God they weren't asymptomatic. That was number one. Number two, this match should have been at Revolution. Because
replace Shida and Mizunami?
I mean, they can have more than one women's match. Or is that, just the WWE thing? Hell, at least they have one or two.
Yeah, WWE's done more matches.
So they can't sit there and tell me. Now, granted, this is the greatest match in North America. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, hell. I mean, granted, if it wasn't for the violent part, I mean, what else would there be? I mean, but I will give Britt Baker her due, man. She took some shit. And you could just tell her body was just like, enough, nigga, enough. Because she was just like shaking. Like when she hit them thumbtacks, she was just like, boy, her best Michael J. Fox impersonation. Because she was just like, man, look. And, I give them props. So I take nothing away from them. I just wish they would have did it, I don't know, on a pay-per-view where everyone spent $60 on. And that would have been probably way more than satisfactory.
I think our friend Drew might have felt that way as well.
Yeah, but I think he's done now. I don't know. I don't know if they want him over.
Well, but you had something to insert, Scooter?
No, Kelly summed it up perfectly.
And lastly, WrestleMania tickets will be going on sale. Once again, they had a bit of a delay, but instead of the originally 45,000 people, they have moved down. They have downsized to 25,000 fans.
Yeah, they went from 47,000 to 25,000, and I called this.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, because that was a Super Bowl. Scooter was on the money. It was basically like however the Super Bowl did it, that's what they're gonna copy.
Yeah. And smart move, right?
Smart move, yeah. Still probably way too high.
I mean, it is, it is Florida, and they haven't been, all the best with their, COVID during all this. So maybe it will be alright. I mean, I don't think a lot of people go out partying after WrestleMania, or maybe I'm wrong.
I mean,
depends on the state. Like Dallas, they shut shit down at midnight, but New York, all bets are off.
Well, no, 2:30 in the morning usually. But why the WWE hasn't figured out how to take the Thunderdome to neighboring states, mostly because of going to another state would probably get them in hot water. But if I was the WWE, I would figure out how to make the Thunderdome mobile and bring it to even other places in Florida.
Well, could they do something similar to what NXT is doing, with and have like that Thunderdome, but also have people in the crowd.
Yes, but the weird thing is that it's seen as acceptable for NXT. That having people in the crowd like that, the people who work backstage and whatnot, that's considered a low standard in Vince's eyes. It would not be becoming of Raw and SmackDown to have that now.
I get you.
True, and it helps them in their production aspect when it deals with Alexa, so all that magic shit.
And quite honestly, I'm surprised that WWE hasn't started charging to be on the Thunderdome.
Because I don't think people would pay to be on the Thunderdome, if I'm being
Oh,
completely honest.
Yeah, people wouldn't pay just to look through a screen. Like it's like
With that feed.
like the NBA playoffs. Like I don't think they were charging cats to
Like,
be on that. You know what I mean?
Or if they gave priority to, let's say, Peacock subscribers, so they can write, you know, they gotta figure out some way to financially benefit
I get what you mean.
from the Thunderdome.
I mean, I could see them doing something where if someone pays, they get like a one-on-one with a superstar type deal. I mean, that could work, but it just depends on how much they're gonna charge and the value of that. Because they've always done those like Zoom meetings. Like for SummerSlam, they did the Zoom like meet and greets. You could talk to them, shoot the shit with them for a couple minutes, that type of shit. I mean, I don't see why they don't do that now, but I think with Florida and the UFC trying to be pushed into packing that bitch, I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to probably do the same thing, especially with Dana White pushing the Kamaru Usman Jorge Masvidal fight, and he's gonna try to get as many motherfuckers in that bitch as he can. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Now, we will definitely see how that plays out when they actually do sell tickets. Definitely going to be interesting. I think we'll conclude our coverage of the news for now.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.